Karen and Gabriel's Fate with the Ghouls, a tale of unimaginable horror. Gabriel and Karen looked out onto a dark and desolate field, their eyes wide with terror. The air felt sticky and oppressive, like something was lurking in the shadows, and a chill ran down their spines as they stood there, hands clutched tightly. They could hear strange noises coming from the field, like inhuman howls and groans. It had been weeks since they had set out on their journey, but it felt like it had only been a few days. They had been searching for a place to call home, but their freedom had come at a great cost. Everywhere they traveled, the land was filled with darkness and despair, and now it seemed like their worst fears had been realized. Just then, a terrifying figure stepped out of the darkness and into the light. His eyes burned with an unholy fire and his body seemed to be composed of bone and rotten flesh. It was a ghoul, a creature of nightmare, and it stared menacingly at Gabriel and Karen. The ghoul screeched and hissed, baring its yellow fangs, and Gabriel and Karen knew they had to run. They ran with all their might, the ghoul chasing close behind them, but it seemed to be gaining ground. Suddenly, Karen stumbled and fell, and Gabriel stopped to help her. He grabbed her arm and pulled as hard as he could, but it was too late. The ghoul was right behind them and it seized them, its claws ripping into their flesh. Karen screamed in terror, but Gabriel shouted in defiance, his voice a sharp contrast to the eerie silence that had filled the air moments before. He fought off the ghoul with everything he had, and eventually it stumbled back, its eyes wide with surprise. It screeched and hissed, but no longer had the upper hand. Gabriel and Karen took the opportunity to run, and ran until they could no longer see it. They eventually reached an old abandoned church, but when they entered, something else was already there. It was a group of ghouls, their eyes blazing with malice, and they were gathered around a sacrificial altar. On the altar was a woman, her eyes pleading, and Gabriel and Karen knew they had to do something. Without hesitating, Gabriel grabbed a nearby cross and began swinging it wildly at the ghouls. The others joined in and soon, the ghouls scurried away. The woman was rescued, but Gabriel and Karen knew the danger wasn't over yet. The ghouls made their way back to the old field, but this time the odds were in Gabriel and Karen's favor. With the help of the woman, they had made a plan to trap the ghouls in the field. Gabriel, Karen and the woman gathered what tools they could find and built a fence around the perimeter of the field. They buried it deep into the ground, and when they were done, they took up their positions and waited. It didn't take long before the ghouls returned, their eyes wide with rage. They howled and screeched, trying to find a way past the barrier, but to no avail. No matter how hard they tried, the fence held firm, and eventually they succumbed to exhaustion and slunk away into the darkness. Gabriel and Karen were safe, but they knew they would never forget what had happened. The woman thanked them, but couldn't stay. She had family to find and Gabriel and Karen wished her the best of luck. With one last glance at the old field, the two of them returned home. They never spoke of the ghouls again, but Karen often felt a chill run up her spine when the wind blew just a little too hard. The horror of the ghouls was over, but the memories would haunt them for the rest of their lives. No matter what else happened in their lives, they would never forget the terrifying moments when they were almost taken by the ghouls. They had been lucky to escape, but knew the cost could have been much worse. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and tell us what you think in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.